So, hello, welcome back to another episode of the Self-Development Tactics podcast. Today we are once again, as you can see on the left side of the screen, we're going to go through some Reddit things. And looking forward to it. Looking forward to see what people are saying, what people are talking about, what people find important, what people find unimportant. Let's dive in. The first one from the Stoicism subreddit. Feel very lonely and have low confidence, discipline and wants to self-improve. What to do? My walls are paper thin and I heard my neighbor and his guy banging and making plans. I've never been in a relationship and I've wanted one for years, yet I'm alone and feel significant sadness. I'm not really attractive, I've put on weight, I procrastinate a lot and I have no confidence. What to do, or what do you do to orientate yourself away from the size and the outside world and inwards to self-improvement? Well, I think it is a good idea to think in that way, because if you're able to get to that point, you are never going to be unsatisfied and you're never going to have problems with confidence. No matter how good you look, no matter how muscular you're going to be, no matter in what great shape you're going to be, you're always going to be just fine. Even if you're just add a few pounds on your way and so on and so forth, you're always going to be quite happy. I do think, though, that one has to really make a distinction between, this is healthy and this is not healthy. Obviously, when you're overweight, this is not healthy. So, and therefore it is something to work on, because it is about health, which is something that's very, very objective. Of course, you might be able to change your mind in a way that you think it is healthy. When you really are that confident in yourself that you're able to pull that off. But in the end, I don't know if you can really fuck with physical laws and medical, quote unquote, laws in that way. Meaning, if you're heavily overweight and or overweight, one should be doing something about that. But as I said before, I think it really makes sense to be fine with whatever the outside world is, but really, really, really heavily work on the inside, So that's, as I said before, no matter how you're going to look, no matter what is happening outside, you're always going to be this confident person. You're always going to be this certain person in the end. So let's actually see what people are saying. Go to sleep early, wake up early, work out, cardio, and wait. This is just, I'll eventually make and fit that into a schedule. I am glad I decided to seek help rather than cry and sulk in depression. Yeah, this is a really great thing, but this is exactly what I thought not necessarily to do. And this is also why I pointed out, when it is unhealthy, you should be doing something about the weight. But if it is just you're, dissatisfied, you do not look as good as you would like, then for the sake of mental health, yes, working out would be a great thing. I don't really know about waking up early and going to bed early. Maybe it can do something for you, discipline-wise and whatnot. I don't know. It is always something you could try out. It is always something that, you could just try and see whether it is working for you. And if it works for you, then just go ahead doing it. But if it doesn't, for whatever the fuck reason, maybe shift work, whatever it might be, then do not do it. It is the same thing as dieting per se. People say to this, to that, you have to do this diet, you have to do that diet. But in the end, it just really comes down to calories in and calories out. No matter how you approach this thing, no matter how you do things, as long as you're healthy and you're feeling healthy and you're feeling good, it is fine how you do it. And I do see waking up early and going to bed early as one of these things. It is something that you could be doing, but you could also be doing it in a different way. Unless you take a look at literature, which I'm not quite that fond of, and you see that indeed going to bed a bit earlier and getting your sleep in earlier, therefore as well, is healthier than something else. This could be the thing, Here as well said, especially weights, go home and journal, have a cold shower, eat a good meal, and read Stoic philosophy. I would as well say not incorporating all of these things into your schedule at once, but gradually exposing yourself to these things unless you have seen in your life that it works for you. Some people are able to do so. Some people are able to just, do something new and stick with it. Or you could also actually be doing everything and see what sticks, and some things are going to stick and some things won't. And those things that won't stick at first, you might be able to get yourself to stick to those things in the long run eventually. Now people are talking about, the answer from the person that wrote that post. I eventually make and fit that into a schedule. I am glad I decided to seek help rather than cry and sulk into depression. Somebody else answered, eventually. This will not happen in the future. In fact, the longer you wait, the harder it will become. And this is totally the truth. There is the you who made the cry for help, and there is the ego who exists only in the form of sorrow. Take away the sorrow and you take away the ego. Have you ever known of an entity to die willingly? It is in the very nature of your sadness to live solely for your ego to live. You have already thought too much into it. This is yet another trap. When you stumble over a rock, do you tell your feet to find balance? There is no time to think, there is only time for action. You're stumbling through life, so find balance. Which I, by the way, think is very, very, very great advice. There's, I think, more to it. I'm not going to read the whole one. But really doing something about whatever the fuck you're concerned about, pissed about at this time, now, makes sense. Really does. For the long run, it is just more intelligent. It is smarter. Chances are higher that you're going to stick to it because you're just doing it for longer. Even if it is only one day is a day. It's better than nothing. What do you write in your journal? Blah, 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 blah. Why weights especially? Just curious. Weights are better for fat loss and builds muscle. It is a good way to get fast results. I do want to hit on that a bit. Weights are not better for fat loss. This is totally wrong. Cardio indeed is. But the thing with building muscle is that muscles do consume calories as well for just being there, for functioning, and not for well, of course, if you eat too less, eventually these muscles are going to decrease in size because there's just not enough energy for them to be there. And so your body, since we are a survival machine, our body decides to get rid of them because they just take up way too much energy. Therefore food, therefore calories. So in the end, having a lot of muscles make you be able to eat more. On the flip side, if you already eat quite something and you add muscles to your whole frame and you still eat the same amount of calories and the same amount of food, then you're going to lose fat because muscles do take some calories, actually quite a bunch. Also one of the reasons why your resting metabolic rate, or RMR, if I'm not wrong here, is actually quite high, and most often is indeed like the most amount of calories that you burn throughout the day. Just you existing, just you being there. And by adding muscles, this is just going to be way, way, way higher. I would recommend meditation as start. You gain insight into your thoughts and emotions and observe them at distance without being controlled by them. I am thinking of meditating and reading some stoicism when I wake up. I don't know, yes, I think it is a good idea to start when you wake up, because when you wake up, then you have this, chain reaction of things that you do. Afterwards, you might be brushing your teeth, which hopefully at least is part of your daily daily morning routine. And so you could be able to stick to it a bit better as to when you just decide to do it whenever you feel like doing it, Also in the evening, I would just in general say, whenever you're already doing something, so a multitude of different things after each and another, for example, showering, just putting lotion on your fucking body and then laying into your bed or something, whatever the fuck you're doing, and then starting to do something makes it a bit easier to stick to this new habit, because you already have some habits before that. Could also just do it the other way around, reading something, then showering and whatnot. But you're gonna just have this quote-unquote chain reaction of things that is helping, at least at my point of view. And also, I think, as far as I remember, James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, has also been writing about that. And in general, I would say Atomic Habits as a book is pretty good. The German translation is completely fucked up. I hate it. But yeah, in terms of the title. Life has completely turned around in under a month from the Decide to Be Better subreddit. Lost job 2 years ago due to COVID and was doing jack shit the entire time. Slumped into depression, made me have no motivation. Started drinking every other day, then it turned into every day. 3 weeks ago, I decided to give up drinking and haven't touched alcohol since 2 weeks ago. I found a great paying job. They have paid for multiple safety tickets and training, and I'm gaining valuable experience every day. Tomorrow, I'm leaving out of town for work for 3 weeks. And honestly, I cannot be happier. I'm excited to start saving money again and rebuilding my life. And I think this just really can show that, on one hand, first of all, action is the driving force. Of course, before action, there has to be motivation, but without action, nothing is gonna happen, you know? You can have just every fucking bit of motivation from this earth inside of you, but if you do not do something with it or something about it, it is just gonna be there, just floating around in your fucking head, in your system. And yeah, if you do not do anything about that, then it is just gonna be what it is. On the other hand, this can just show that things can turn around in a good sense very, very, very quickly. On the other hand, one should also be remembering and should also be keeping in mind that this could also be the complete opposite. When you're doing really fine now, something could happen that is gonna make you feel like utter shit pretty easily and pretty quickly. So it indeed also makes sense, in my point of view, to visualize negative things happening, like you losing your job, you losing a loved one, and whatnot, and in some way mentally preparing yourself for this moment, for this situation to occur. Well, not to occur, but so that when it occurs, that you're going to be quite fine. Of course, the real thing is never ever going to be as, detailed and as probably difficult as a quote-unquote simulation, but I think it is going to help. And I do also think that this is something stoic, negative visualization might actually be called like that. I do not remember, but yeah, it just, I don't know, like it also shows that, maybe, for example, this person might be happier right now than 2 years ago when this person had the job, had all the other things, before this whole just depression type of thing happening. But it could, and therefore shows that sometimes when one door closes, another one opens. From time to time, it takes a bit to see that door, to recognize that door, to get to know that door, to find it eventually, and get to it maybe, maybe you already see it, but the path to it is a bit strange, a bit difficult, whatever it might be. But no matter, and this is actually indeed something that I wanted to read about, the free will. I wanted to Google it. I wanted to inform myself a bit about the free will and how to deal with it. But this might also just show that there is no free will, that things are destined to be in a certain way, maybe also just not. Really depends on how you think about things and how you think about this topic, especially. But sometimes life is good, sometimes life is bad. Working on your attitude, and I think this is going to be the overall theme for this episode indeed. If you're able to see good in no matter what situation you're facing, then you are on a good path. If you're able to feel well internally, you are on a good path. When some things are, when you're too overly influenced by outside things, you're not on a good path. Things are gonna get pretty shitty someday. And it is indeed something that I have to work on as well. Like really, really, really have to work on. And I mean that shit. I really need to be able to intrinsically motivate myself. Well, not necessarily motivate, but being intrinsically happy. Happy with me in the sense of not just accepting myself, but feeling joy with myself. Also not necessarily about being alone, but I don't know how to say it, but just using me to be happy, like inwardly, intrinsically creating happiness. However, I'm gonna do that, but I kind of need to learn that a ton of things in my life are based on outside things, and I really need to be able to change my attitude, to change my thinking as well, which I think consists of me changing a few things that I've been doing, and indeed actually then taking action and doing something about these things. And well, by living and by trying out new things and by just being existent and by whatever, one really, not easily, but throughout the days and weeks and months, can really figure out what somebody needs or what one needs. Whether it is more social contact, whether it is doing more work, whatever it might be, I think we all can figure out a way in which we can deal with things so that we are happier. Quite. One last thing. Image one step at a time. I know this is pondering, but I've been depressed for months and I haven't hit the gym during that time. Mr. Schwarzenegger, can you please tell me to get off my lazy ass and hit the gym? I swear to everything I hold dear that I will snap out of it and go. And things should happen. Arnold Schwarzenegger, or Goff Schwarzenegger, after 3 hours, answered this person's comment or this person's post. I don't know. I'm not going to be that hard on you. Please don't be that hard on yourself. We all go through challenges. We all go through failure. Sometimes life is a workout, but the key thing is you get up. Just move a little, roll out of bed and do some push-ups or go for a walk. Just do something. One step at a time. I hope you feel better and get back to the gym. But don't beat yourself up because that is just useless talk. It doesn't get you closer to the gym, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Good luck. Actually pretty amazing that he took the time to do so. If it really was him, who knows? I don't know. But this once again underlines the overall topic of this fucking episode, which is dealing with yourself intrinsically, because he said, do not judge yourself. Do not make things even worse for you by being bad to yourself, essentially. I often have been talking about being one's own best friend, trying to do things and just, trying to be realistic, trying to see things realistically. Yes, this is maybe very abstract. What is real? What is that reality that I might be referring to? But having this balance of motivating yourself, pushing yourself, but on the other hand as well, trying to understand yourself and being able to understand yourself and being able not to judge yourself for doing certain things, which might be based on rationality. Like, okay, I actually feel really shit today, I shouldn't be working out. And then as well, not judging yourself by understanding that it is not going to make anything better. The whole problem of this is, can we really change things by rationality, by using rationality, Aren't we so irrational that this is just not gonna work? Anyway, I'm gonna end the episode there. I do hope that you're feeling good, that you're doing fine, and please, please, please remember the overall theme of this one episode. Inward beauty is always gonna fight outward ugliness, unhappiness, fear, anxiety, whatever. If you're strong internally, things are not going to be that bad for you, whatever the fuck you're facing. See you soon.